The series kicks off with a group of mysterious individuals dressed in black from head to toe, their faces hidden, but it's clear they're up to no good. They enter a place that looks like a museum, and they begin to scatter around, each one heading off to complete a mission. One of them enters a secret room and stands before a box containing a mystical stone. He reaches out to grab it but is shocked when his hand gets electrocuted. He realizes that the box is protected by a powerful spell. So, he pulls out a magical sword from his bag, decides to use it, and strikes the box. The protection barrier shatters. He grabs the mystical stone and walks out of the room, laughing, clearly plotting something dangerous. But who are they and what do they want? Stick with me, viewers, and you'll figure it out soon. The next day, we meet a beautiful girl named Yuna. She's a student at a secret magic school, and we learn she's a phantom hunter. Phantoms are evil spirits and demons who want to destroy the world. The same mysterious group we saw earlier, the ones in black, are the ones causing trouble. Yuna and the other hunters are tasked with stopping them. Yuna goes to meet the school's headmistress, who informs her that the phantoms have stolen the magical stones. This means the world is in grave danger. As a result, all the other hunters have been sent into the human world to capture them. The headmistress assigns Yuna a mission. She needs to infiltrate a school and pretend to be just another normal student. She gives Yuna a magical device that will help her track the phantoms if they're nearby, and warns her that this will be a tough task and that she needs to stay focused. Yuna is nervous but agrees to do it. She asks if she can have a weapon to fight them, but the headmistress refuses, saying she's still a trainee. She explains that Yuna's job is to locate them, not to capture them herself. Leave the rest to us. Yuna is disappointed, frustrated that she won't get the chance to prove herself and take them down herself. She reluctantly follows the headmistress's instructions, saying goodbye and stepping through a magical portal that transports her to the human world. 2 months pass, and we see Yuna sitting in a classroom. She's enrolled in a regular high school, pretending to be just another student, but she feels frustrated and bored. It's been a long time since she's been at the school, and still, no phantoms have shown up. She looks around the classroom, wondering if any of the students might be possessed by a phantom. But they all seem normal, and Yuna realizes that her mission is going to be tough. It won't be easy to track them down. The bell rings, and the teacher asks a student to help him move some books to his office. The student tries to pick up the books, but they're too heavy for him, and he drops them on the floor. His classmates start laughing, mocking him for being weak. The student is clearly embarrassed, but Yuna steps in to help him. She picks up the books with ease, and the student is moved by her kindness, thanking her for her help. Afterward, Yuna leaves the classroom, continuing to watch the students in case any of them behave strangely. She notices the class president, young, and is immediately taken by his good looks. She watches him for a while, wishing she could get to know him. But she quickly reminds herself that she's on a mission and needs to stay focused. Her thoughts are interrupted when her classmate, John, approaches her. He hands her some candy and thanks her for helping his friend with the books when everyone else was bullying him. Yuna smiles and thanks him back, feeling a little happy about the gesture. As she leaves the school, she eats the candy, feeling a bit better, but then she suddenly gets angry with herself for forgetting why she's there. She's here to find and capture the phantoms. Just then, she sees an elderly man struggling to push his car, and she feels sorry for him. She decides to help and uses her magic powers. With a wave of her hand, she casts a spell that breaks the stone blocking the car's movement, allowing it to start. The elderly man is shocked, asking himself where she got all that strength from. Later, we see John heading to the baseball field, practicing his swings. We learn that he dreams of becoming a professional player. He heads over to his friend, who's not very strong, to practice together. John opens his bag to grab his glove, but he's surprised by how heavy it is. He wonders how he can lift it so easily and realizes he has some unnatural strength. As he continues to look through the bag, he finds a lot of candy, which puzzles him. Being an athlete, he's supposed to avoid junk food, so he's confused about why it's in there. John starts to feel uneasy and doesn't want to tell his friend the real reason. We soon find out that he's been buying the candy for Yuna, since he has a crush on her. His friend leaves to go change clothes, and that's when the unexpected happens. John runs into a bully who's been waiting for his friend. The bully pushes him to the ground and starts threatening him, telling him to finish his homework or he'll pay for it. Just then, John steps in and pushes the bully away, warning him that if he comes near his friend again, he'll regret it. The bully laughs and mocks him, thinking John's weak, but John reveals that he's a professional boxer and the bully's not going to win this fight. The bully rushes at him, throwing punches, but John easily dodges them. He lands a clean hit to the bully's stomach, sending him crashing to the ground. The bully is shocked, realizing that John is not someone to mess with. He gets angry and grabs a baseball bat, charging at John with fury in his eyes. John, however, stays calm and uses his quick reflexes to block the attack. He delivers a moral lesson in the process, teaching the bully a thing or two about respect. Meanwhile, Yuna is in her dorm room when she notices that the magical device she's carrying starts glowing. She's surprised and doesn't believe her eyes. Realizing that a phantom is nearby, she grabs the device and rushes out to find its location. As she walks down the hall, she sees John fighting the bully and is impressed by his strength. But then she wonders if the phantom might be controlling him. Excited by the possibility, she decides to report this to the headmistress. The next day, she meets with her and explains what she saw. Yuna tells the headmistress that there's a student in her class with supernatural abilities, and she's convinced that a phantom is controlling him. She asks if she can send a professional demon hunter to capture him and save the student. However, the headmistress is skeptical and doesn't believe her right away. She tells Yuna to confirm her suspicions first and then report back. Yuna feels frustrated by the lack of trust. Before leaving, Yuna notices a magical ring on the desk and, without thinking, decides to take it when the headmistress isn't looking. The next day, Yuna returns to school and starts watching John from a distance. She notices that he's beating everyone in strength-based games, confirming that he does indeed have unnatural power. She's sure that a phantom is controlling him now. Determined to prove her theory, she calls him over and asks for his help carrying a heavy box. John is confused, wondering why she'd ask him instead of the class president, Young. Yuna, nervous, tells him that he's the strongest student in class, which convinces John to help her. As he lifts the box, Yuna uses the magical ring to increase its weight, hoping to force him to tap into the phantom's power within him. However, John can't handle the increased weight and the box falls on top of him. He collapses, and Yuna is left shocked. She rushes him to the nurse's office, where the nurse assures her that John is fine but needs to rest. Yuna feels guilty and realizes that she was wrong to use the ring that way. She decides to return it to the headmistress before she finds out. On her way to the library, which has a magical portal, she's surprised to find that the portal has disappeared. Meanwhile, the bully learns that John is in the clinic and sees an opportunity to take advantage of the situation. He heads over, mocking John and treating him like he's still weak. The bully tells him to do his bidding or face the consequences. But that's when the surprise happens. The weak, quiet student, the one everyone ignored, suddenly changes. His eyes turn a different color, and he begins to laugh menacingly. It's clear now, he's the phantom, and he easily overpowers the bully, ready to strike. The bully tries to grab the weak student's hand, intending to break it, but he's stunned when he realizes that the student has unnatural strength. Terrified, the bully attempts to flee. Meanwhile, Yuna is still searching for the magical portal when she notices that her magical device starts glowing again. She knows that a phantom has appeared nearby, so she runs to find it. When she reaches the field, she's shocked to see that the bully has collapsed on the ground. Standing over him is the quiet student, his appearance changed, and it's clear now, he's the phantom she's been searching for. Yuna realizes she's been deceived, and this student was the one controlling the others all along. Determined to fix her mistake, she prepares to capture him. A fight breaks out between them. Yuna manages to land a hit, but the phantom gets enraged. Using all his power, he attacks her, knocking her to the ground and almost finishing her off. Just as things seem dire, John shows up at the right moment, saving her. He's confused, not understanding what's going on. Yuna quickly tells him that they're in danger and asks for his help. She promises to explain everything once they're safe. Reluctantly, John decides to trust her, and they work together to take down the Phantom. They manage to subdue him, and Yuna uses her magical ring to transform it into a powerful sword. She strikes the Phantom, defeating him. The Phantom's essence leaves the weak student's body, and Yuna traps it, taking the magical stone the Phantom was carrying. John is still in shock, not understanding anything he's just witnessed. He asks Yuna who she really is and demands an explanation. Yuna takes a deep breath and begins to tell him everything. She reveals that she's a demon hunter, sent to this world on a secret mission to capture phantoms and retrieve the stolen magical stones. Although John might find it hard to believe, he ends up trusting her. When he sees that his friend has returned to normal, with no memory of what happened, he's left even more confused. He asks Yuna why the weak student doesn't remember anything. Yuna explains that when a phantom leaves a human body, it erases all the memories from that person's mind. They don't remember anything that happened while they were under the Phantom's control. John is stunned by everything Yuna has told him, but deep down he knows she's telling the truth. He asks if she's going to stay at the school. She explains that she has no choice. The magical portal that would return her to her world has vanished. Until it reappears, she's stuck here, and that means she has to complete her mission, capture every phantom hiding in the school. Inspired by her courage, John offers to help. He knows he's strong enough to protect her. Yuna smiles, grateful for his support, and agrees, but only under one condition. It has to stay between them. No one else can know what's going on. He agrees, and she tells him she's heading to the library to search for the lost portal. She asks him to go to his baseball practice like normal so nobody suspects anything. John nods and heads to the locker room to change. He makes his way to the field and starts practicing. Because of his good looks and athletic skills, a crowd of girls gathers to watch and cheer him on. One of his teammates watches from a distance, clearly envious. The teammate confides in John that he has a crush on a girl but is too scared to tell her. John, with a distant look in his eye, admits that he's also got a crush, someone he's admired silently. It's clear he's talking about Yuna. He encourages his teammate to be honest about his feelings and gives him a pep talk to build his confidence. Meanwhile, Yuna is at the library, searching through every corner, hoping to find the portal back to her world, but again, there's no sign of it. Frustrated, she loses her temper and accidentally knocks over a stack of books using her powers. Just then Young, one of the top students in school, walks in and sees her. He rushes over to help pick up the books. Yuna is surprised and a little embarrassed, but she thanks him. He introduces himself and, noticing she looks distressed, gently asks if she's looking for something. Caught off guard, Yuna panics a little, worried he might suspect something. She quickly lies, saying she lost something personal and was just trying to find it. Young smiles and offers her advice. Maybe stop searching so hard. Sometimes you find what you're looking for when you least expect it. Then he adds with a kind smile, in the meantime, don't forget to focus on your studies. Yuna forces a smile back, still feeling the weight of her mission but now a little more conflicted. She follows the clue, and just like that, the object appears on its own. She nods, convinced, and thanks him before walking away, determined to focus on finding the Phantom. As she heads down the hallway, she notices one of her teammates sitting alone, talking to himself. Curious, she approaches and gently asks what's wrong. He opens up, admitting he's in love with a popular girl but too afraid to tell her. He's worried she'll reject him because he's seen as an outsider. She feels for him. With a warm smile, she encourages him to believe in himself. If you don't tell her how you feel, you'll regret it later. At least take the chance. Her words spark something in him. He thanks her, saying he's going to confess his feelings to her in class, and then walks away with a new sense of courage. She feels proud to have helped him. Leaving school, she turns her full attention to her mission. That's when a nerdy student suddenly calls out her name. She freezes. She doesn't even know this guy. "What do you want?" she asks, a bit nervous. "I know who you are," he says. "You're a demon hunter. You're here for the Phantom, aren't you?" Her heart races. How does he know that? Afraid someone might overhear, she quickly pulls him aside to a quiet spot. She tries to play it off. "I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even fish, let alone hunt demons. But the nerdy kid is sharp. Spotting the ring on her finger, he smirks. That's a magic ring, isn't it? She's taken aback. How do you know that? He opens his backpack and shows her an old book. I've read a lot about demons. I know they're real, and they're here. Meanwhile, John is waiting near the school courtyard, hoping to see the girl he's secretly in love with. He wants to tell her how he feels. But she doesn't show up. Minutes pass. Disappointed, he assumes she's not coming and starts walking away. What he doesn't know is that she's sitting on the school stairs, crying next to her best friend. I told him how I feel, and he turned me down, she sobs. Her friend tries to comfort her. But John wanted to see you. He told me he loves you. He wanted to ask you out. The girl shakes her head. We're just not right for each other. She's way out of my league, the girl scoffs to her best friend. I'm popular, I'm beautiful, and he's just awkward. Weird. There's no way I'd ever date him. She decides to reject him. But nearby, he overhears everything. Her words hit him like a punch to the chest. His heart sinks, he truly cared for her. Everything he felt was real. Crushed and heartbroken, he quietly walks back into an empty classroom and breaks down, tears streaming down his face. That's when something strange happens. A dark presence starts to creep in. From the shadows, a phantom appears and slowly approaches him. In his moment of deepest pain, the entity merges with him, taking over his body. The next day, he walks into school, but he's not the same. He's different. With the phantom's power flowing through him, he suddenly has money, style, confidence, and a brand new look. Expensive clothes, sharp hair, piercing eyes. He's no longer the outcast, he's the center of attention. All the girls want him now, hanging on his every move. But he ignores them. Instead, he heads to the field to train. John, watching from a distance, is stunned. What the hell happened to him? He notices that even the girls who used to ignore this guy are now obsessed with him. Some of them don't even notice John anymore. They're too busy trying to flirt with the new version of his friend. Something's not right. Back in class, John talks to her about it, confused. Something's going on. He changed overnight. It's like, he's not even the same person. She rolls her eyes. You're just jealous, 'cause now he's more popular than you. But before he can respond, the nerdy student jumps in. No, this isn't normal. I think the phantom is involved. John is caught off guard. Wait, how do you even know about that? She turns to him and says, he's one of us now, part of the team. Meanwhile, the newly transformed student walks confidently to meet Young. They talk, but his tone is cocky and full of arrogance. I'm gonna make every girl fall for me. Just watch. Then he heads toward the girl who broke his heart. She's shocked when he shows up and asks coldly, why didn't you show up yesterday like we planned? He looks her in the eyes. Why did you stand me up? She shrugs, trying to play it cool. I like you, okay? I didn't know how to say it. But he's not here for apologies. Without warning, he activates the phantom's magic. His eyes glow faintly as he whispers an incantation. A dark charm settles over her. Suddenly, her cold demeanor melts away. She gazes at him, entranced, completely in love. His plan worked. She runs after him, regret all over her face. I'm sorry, she pleads. Please, just give me another chance. But he doesn't even look back. No, he says coldly. You had your chance. He walks away, leaving her stunned. From a distance, Yuna and her team watch everything unfold. She glances down and sees her enchanted device glowing. That confirms it, he's possessed by a phantom. They gather for an emergency meeting. The nerdy student, now officially part of their squad, steps forward. I've read everything about phantoms, he says. They feed on human weakness. They give you exactly what you want, in exchange for control. He flips open a book and points to a page. This type of phantom thrives on popularity and praise. It's how he got to him. They form a plan. Yuna suggests, I'll lure him to a quiet spot, somewhere far from the other students. I'll pretend I'm into him, like I'm falling for him. That'll distract him, and you'll have your chance to trap him. John objects immediately. No, it's too dangerous. You can't face him alone. But Yuna insists. It's the only way. She sends a message to the possessed student, asking him to meet her at the library that night. Meanwhile, the nerdy kid begs to come along, but they refuse. He might be too much of a risk in battle. That night, the school library is dark and silent. Yuna stands alone, waiting. He arrives, grinning smugly. So, you finally realized you're into me too, huh? But she just smirks. Oh please. I wouldn't fall for you even if I tripped. He frowns, confused. She folds her arms. That girl dumped you on the stairs. I just came to finish the job. Before he can react, she lunges at him and lands a solid strike across the back of his head, sending him crashing to the ground. He looks up, stunned. You're not just a pretty face. Nope, she says. And you messed with the wrong team. Realizing he can't win this fight alone, the phantom inside him begins to laugh, and then summons help. Out of nowhere, one of the girls under his spell storms in and tackles Yuna, dragging her down and pulling at her hair. Yuna struggles to break free, but more girls start pouring into the room, all enchanted, all blindly protecting him. John and the team rush in. He pulls the attacker off Yuna and yells, "We need to stop them, but they're not the enemy." But the possessed girls swarm them, forming a human shield around the phantom. He hides behind them, using them as puppets, forcing them to attack Yuna and her team. The team tries to reason with them, shouting, "You're under a spell. He's controlling you." But nothing works. They're outnumbered, overwhelmed, and starting to lose hope. Suddenly, she woke up, startled from a nightmare. She realized it was just a dream, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something dangerous was about to happen. It felt like a vision of the future. When she got to school, she found John waiting for her. He was surprised that she wasn't acting like her usual self. He asked what was wrong, and she explained that she hadn't been able to sleep well and told him about the recurring nightmares she had been having. John, trying to cheer her up, decided to bring her some sweets to lift her spirits. She smiled and thanked him, but then she realized something strange. He always had sweets with him, even though he was an athlete and shouldn't be eating them. She nervously teased him about it, but John was afraid she'd figure out that the sweets were for her. He awkwardly explained that he had gotten them for free from the supermarket. At that moment, a student rushed out of the classroom, accidentally bumping into John. She quickly apologized, tears streaming down her face as she walked away. John was confused, but the girl explained that the students bullied her because she wore glasses and had poor eyesight. Later, the girl went to her locker, only to find her clothes covered in dirt, with trash thrown on them. She could hear the bullies laughing, making cruel remarks about how she smelled bad. Feeling embarrassed and humiliated, she had no choice but to wear the dirty clothes since she had physical education class next. As she walked to the playground, the bullies continued to taunt her, throwing balls at her, knocking her to the ground. Her teacher noticed what was happening and asked if anyone was bothering her, but the bullies quickly lied, saying they were just joking around. They claimed she had slipped in the bathroom, and that was why her clothes were dirty. Afraid of confronting them, the girl didn't speak up, enduring the humiliation. Just then, a brave student stepped in to defend her. She grabbed the ball from the bullies and threw it far away to stop their torment. One of the bullies got angry and was about to fight the brave girl, but her friend stopped her when she saw the teacher standing nearby. The bullied girl was deeply affected by the situation and went to the bathroom to wash her clothes. She thanked the brave student for standing up for her. She realized she also needed to be brave and stand up for herself. She couldn't let anyone bully or make fun of her anymore. But then she told the girl, "I can't do that because I'm ugly and I don't have any friends. Everyone bullies me." The brave student got upset by what she heard and told her that if she didn't try to change, she'd remain in the same situation forever. With that, the student left. Later, the bullies called her, asking her to buy them lunch. She felt she had no choice but to obey them because she was afraid of them. She went, bought the food, and delivered it to them. But instead of thanking her, they mocked her and even threatened to hit her for being late. Luckily, the brave girl appeared just in time. She decided to teach the bullies a lesson in manners. Using her powers, she cast a spell, making the food fly into their faces, ruining their appearance. To her surprise, the brave girl was standing right behind her. The bullied girl panicked, wondering if she had seen what she did. Later, when she returned to class, she told her friends what had happened. They reassured her, saying the girl probably hadn't noticed. That night, the bullies decided to punish the girl by locking her in the lab. They warned her not to tell anyone and told her they'd release her the next day. They left, laughing as they went. The girl was terrified and kept calling for help, but no one heard her. She felt hopeless. Suddenly, one of the phantoms appeared behind her, getting closer and deciding to possess her body. At the same time, one of the bullies realized she had forgotten her phone and decided to go back to the lab to retrieve it. When she entered, she couldn't find the girl. Surprised, she thought the girl was hiding. She began searching for her and noticed a drop of water falling from the ceiling, puzzled by the cause. Suddenly, the crown girl appears in front of her, looking terrifying as if she were a ghost. The bully gets scared and starts screaming. The next day, news spreads throughout the school. When the girl arrives, she notices that many students are afraid, and a large number of them didn't come to school. She's surprised and enters the class, asking her team about the reason. They tell her what happened and inform her that the bully had fainted yesterday. When she woke up, she said she saw a ghost in the lab. Shocked by this, she decides to go to the lab to check things out for herself. John goes with her, but he's scared, taking one step forward and hesitating with the other. She reassures him, saying that her magical tool is not glowing. Suddenly, a teacher enters and asks them to leave the lab because it's getting late. They have no choice but to listen to him. She then goes to the smart student, who has been gathering information from books. He tells her about the new phantom, explaining that it preys on fear and makes people see what they are most afraid of. She's shocked by what he says and concludes that the phantom has possessed the girl who is setting a trap to lure them. She and her team stay in the classroom until late and play a horror movie to scare them. However, the opposite happens. They end up laughing at the movie because it's just sci-fi. Suddenly, their magical tools begin to glow, signaling the appearance of the phantom. She runs to the lab and finds the crown girl there. But her appearance has changed because the phantom is controlling her. Seizing the opportunity, she attacks the phantom and a fight breaks out. She almost manages to defeat it, but the phantom feels it's about to lose. It uses its power to exploit the smart student's weakness. The smart student, realizing the phantom is targeting his fear of clowns, sees hallucinations of clowns surrounding him, causing him to cry. Then, the phantom forces John to see his coach, as that's his biggest fear. The coach continues to defeat him, forcing him to train against his will. He falls to the ground and starts crying. She's shocked by what's happening and tries to help them, but it's no use. She doesn't know what to do. The phantom approaches her and makes her see the nightmares she's been having, as that's her biggest fear. Indeed, its plan works. She dreams that the principal and her teammates are on the ground, and she cries. But the brave student arrives just in time. She's the only one who doesn't have a weakness. It turns out she knew the heroine was a phantom hunter. She approaches her and slaps her to wake her up. Her plan works, and the heroine returns to normal. She tells her to gather her courage. They must defeat the phantom. She decides to do that, using her powers to overcome the illusions in front of her. In a fit of rage, she attacks the phantom with her sword, successfully defeating it. She leaves the girls' section, trapping the phantom spirit and taking the magical stone. She thanks the brave student for helping her and sits with her, asking how she discovered her secret. The student replies, "I've seen you use your powers more than once. I knew you weren't an ordinary girl." The heroine is surprised by her intelligence and realizes that the brave student has a mission to capture phantoms. She asks the brave student to join her team. The student agrees and promises to help her the next day in class. The teacher asks the students to divide into groups and draw each other to get some grades. Our heroes decide to form a group, but they're shocked to realize none of them can draw at all. Unfortunately, John starts overthinking things. He brings in a large canvas to draw on, which turns out to be a mistake, as it will take them too long. He awakens Da Vinci's spirit within him and tries to draw the brave student. "Why did you even draw, man?" She looks like a zombie. She gets angry and decides to draw instead of him. But when she tries, it ends up looking like a weird, goofy version of the boy. The teacher sees them playing around and shouts at them, deducting points from their grades. They only have a little time left and he decides to... At that moment, the student with the sharp mind saves the day and tries to draw, but they're all shocked when they realize he's actually talented at drawing. He successfully draws her almost perfectly, but then he feels tired and falls asleep. After the class, 3 girls go to talk to the teacher and find out they've been childhood friends. They ask him to let them do their graduation project together. The teacher is impressed by their friendship and agrees, making the girls happy. They thank him and decide to go eat together at a restaurant. They sit at a table and one of them, the kind one, goes to get food for them. As she walks, she fears that the bullies are growing in number like the girl. She follows her and asks if she's bringing all that food to her friends willingly or if she's scared of them. The girl reassures her that she's bringing it to her close friends and tells her that all 3 of them are wearing the same ring. She feels relieved, realizing she was wrong. She decides to also bring food to her team to cheer them up. When she goes to them, she says, "Look, we need to cooperate with each other. We must be united to catch them." They reassure her and tell her, "Shame on you. Calm down. We're grown-ups." But in less than a second, John and the brave student start arguing over food like little kids. She gets upset, takes the food from them, and says, "What a waste of blessings on you." She leaves and sits by herself. Young sees her and goes to talk to her. He asks why she's sitting alone and where her team is. She has to tell him the truth and says that every time they get together, they end up fighting and can't agree on anything. He reassures her, saying it's normal since there's still a new team and don't know each other well. He tells her that once they spend more time together, they'll get used to each other and the fighting will stop. He leaves after that. She gets convinced by what he said and thanks him, but then she realizes he forgot his deck of cards. She goes after him to return it, but to her surprise, he has vanished. She's confused, not understanding how he left so quickly. Meanwhile, the 3 girls are sitting together to work on their project. But the kind girl starts feeling tired and decides to leave to rest. She says goodbye and walks away, but she realizes she forgot her wallet. She goes back to get it, only to overhear her friends talking badly about her. They say harsh things, accusing her of using them for her own benefit. In reality, they hate her. She's shocked by what she hears and can't believe it. She's hurt because she thought they were like sisters, not just friends. She leaves the place, sits alone, and breaks down in tears. She takes off their ring and throws it on the ground, ending everything between them. Suddenly, one of the phantoms appears and seizes the opportunity to approach her and take control of her body. The next day, Yuna goes to school but notices something strange. She's shocked to see all her friends fighting with each other. She doesn't understand why. When she enters the classroom, she finds John arguing with the brave student, but she reassures herself that it's just normal. She goes to talk to her friend, the student with the sharp mind. She tells him, "I suspect that all this fighting is caused by the phantom." He says he's gathered information from the book and learned that this type of phantom feeds on hatred. It thrives on fights and problems. He asks her to find the victim the phantom has possessed so they can free them and capture the phantom. Reluctantly, she agrees to follow his advice. She starts walking around the school, trying to figure out who could be the phantom's victim. She continues to observe the close friends as they argue with each other, and she notices that the kind girl is laughing and enjoying herself. She's surprised and realizes that the phantom has taken control of her. She decides to come up with a plan to capture it. She meets John and asks him to meet her in their secret spot. He's happy and agrees. That night, he arrives on time but is surprised to find that she has gathered the rest of the team. She tells them that she needs them and they must all cooperate as one. She captivates the team with her words, and they decide to forget the conflicts among them. They sit with her, eager to know her plan. She takes out her deck of cards and says, "We're going to pretend to play with them, but in reality, we'll start a fight right now to attract the phantom." The plan works, and the kind girl arrives, watching them and laughing. They trap her, realizing that they've been using her and taking advantage of her. This is the chance, and she attacks. She starts fighting to drive the phantom out of her. However, she's surprised to find that the phantom is stronger, not weak like the others. She realizes that its power grows because of the constant fighting between friends. The phantom laughs and escapes, leading her to chase after it until it reaches the garage. The phantom did this to separate her from her friends. She uses her secret weapon and tries to strike it with it, but it dodges her blows and knocks her to the ground. The phantom gets closer and starts choking her, and sadly, our hero feels like her end is near. But suddenly, the phantom gets electrocuted and can't move. She seizes the opportunity, strikes it with her sword, and defeats it. Her team arrives and checks on her, but she's confused, wondering who did that. Suddenly, a figure appears in front of her, trapping the phantom and taking the magical stone from it. She's shocked when she sees him, unable to believe what's happening. She realizes that he, too, is like her. She notices the magical ring he's wearing, but she's startled to see that it's black. This means that the person is from a higher rank, and she can't believe it because it's her first time meeting someone from a high rank. She's amazed, and the student, Dahi, is also amazed because he has read a lot about them. He explains that there was a mission in the human world, but the magic portal disappeared, and now he can't return to his world. She's shocked by his words and tells him that she also doesn't know how to return. She tells him that her portal disappeared from the library and concludes that something dangerous happened related to the nightmares she's been having every day. She feels lost and doesn't know what to do, so she thinks that they need to cooperate to catch the other phantoms and take their magical stones. Once they do that, they can return. Yuna feels relieved and agrees, feeling safe because he's a strong person. But he notices her wearing the ring and asks if she stole it. She becomes nervous and replies, "Do you think we're thieves or something?" No, I just borrowed it from behind the principal's back without her knowing, and I'll return it to her later." He laughs at her actions, and then he decides to play a trick on her. He gives her the magical stone he took from the phantom to keep it with the other stones. He starts feeling jealous about their relationship because he's secretly in love with her and is afraid she might get taken away from him. The next day, he goes to training, still angry and distracted. He keeps thinking about what happened and throws the ball far away. Since he comes from a poor background, a student who's passing by feels embarrassed and goes to apologize to him. The student forgives him, leaves, and walks away. He's surprised that the student is so kind and asks his friend about him. His friend tells him that the student is also a musician, meaning he's an artist with a sensitive soul and doesn't get upset by anything. Now we move on to the musician, who goes to the music room to practice with his team. There, he meets his close friend and asks him to help him with training. The musician agrees because he's kind. He keeps giving him advice to improve. When they finish, they go to have lunch. However, their music teacher meets them and asks to speak with them. She informs them about a competition where they could win a big prize and even appear on television, which excites the students, and they decide to participate. But she tells them that only one student from each school will participate, which surprises them, and they argue. This means one of them will have to sacrifice, and they're not sure who will do it. At that moment, our heroine is sitting with the diligent student reading information about the phantom from the books. The brave student enters and tells them that there is a vote to choose the student who will represent their school. This is because there's a famous competition coming up, and they want just one student. They go with her to watch the performance, and the musician and his friend go up on stage and start playing the violin. Their performance is amazing, truly exceptional. The audience admires them and acknowledges their talent. However, suddenly the violin string breaks, and the musician gets anxious and embarrassed. He decides to leave the stage and walks away, sitting alone, upset and crying because he feels his chance is lost, as he is poor and cannot afford to buy a new violin. He throws it on the ground and breaks it. He then goes to his friend's room and decides to steal his violin. But suddenly, a phantom appears behind him and possesses his body. The next day, he goes to class but notices that something has been stolen from every student's locker, like the chair they sit on or their phone. Everyone is surprised and concludes that the phantom must be the cause. He goes to tell Yona and they begin observing the students. They see the musician taking a shoe from another student, and Yona notices that her tool starts glowing, confirming that he is the phantom. She sits down with the nerdy student and learns from him about the Phantom. He tells her that they are a greedy type who loves to take everything. He suggests that she should get something he wants in order to lure him out, and once he meets her, she can capture him. She thinks about it and decides to ask for help from Young. She tells him everything about the Phantom and shows him a picture of a rare type. She tells him she will use it to lure the Phantom. He likes her plan and agrees to it. He gives her his credit card so she can buy what she needs. She thanks him, and that night, she begins to execute the plan. The Phantom indeed goes to the music theater to get the violin. She decides to use the opportunity to capture him, but she is surprised to find that her magic ring is missing. The Phantom laughs, revealing that he stole it. He arrives and tries to hit him with a baseball bat. However, they are shocked to find that they can't even use their powers. Even the brave girl can't use her strength to fight. The nerdy student realizes that the Phantom can steal anything, even their abilities, and that this opponent is not easy to defeat. Suddenly, Young arrives just in time. He enters and decides to fight the Phantom himself. He attacks him and begins to wrestle with him. The Phantom tries to steal his power, but he can't because Young is stronger than him. Young takes advantage of this, breaks the Phantom's arm and face. Because of that, the abilities that were stolen return to their owners. She is overjoyed and strikes him with her sword. She gets the Phantom out of the musician's body and takes the magic stone from him. The musician feels weak, faints, and falls to the ground. Young picks him up, takes him to the music room, and leaves the new violin next to him as a gift. The team admires what he did and acknowledges that he is a good person. The next day, he goes to school. The brave girl enters with new news, as always. She tells them that a famous girl is about to transfer to the school. No way, she'll be with us in the same class. Everyone is shocked by what they hear, except for our heroine, who has never heard of her before. The smart student tells her that she is an intern and a potential idol because of her beautiful voice, and everyone expects her to become a famous star. Suddenly, the idol girl enters the class and sits near them, and the team is amazed by her appearance. She's beautiful and sweet, except for John, who thinks she's just ordinary because he's in love with someone else. The girl who's much more beautiful than her and captured his heart at first sight is our heroine, dear viewer. Meanwhile, the smart student is impressed by the girl's talent, as she can sing in front of an audience with ease. She doesn't move much, and she tells him that she can do the same because confidence is key, and she decides to prove it to him. After school, they head to the club, and her inner diva, like a famous singer, comes out. She starts singing, but her voice sounds off and like a frog's. She goes to ask her team for their opinion, but they make fun of her, saying the best part of the song was that it was over. The only one who likes her voice, because every mother thinks her child is a genius, tells her, "I'm even better than the famous singers." He also decides to sing. But the brave student decides to sing with him, and they're surprised that their voices sound good together. They decide to participate in a singing competition. The next day, they do just that, and the students are impressed with their voices, cheering them on. Then, it's the idol girl's turn, and everyone is excited to hear her sing. She gets on stage and starts singing. Her voice is indeed beautiful, and everyone enjoys it, but she gets nervous, and her voice changes. I don't want to say it, but it ends up being worse than a very off-pitch voice. Everyone is shocked by what happened and doesn't understand why. When she leaves, she overhears the students talking badly about her, calling her a failure and talentless. She feels hurt by their words and walks away. However, she bumps into Young, who asks if she's okay, but she refuses to respond. She goes into the bathroom, locks herself in, and breaks down crying. The bullying students hear her and go to film her, but he stops them and asks them to leave. Later that night, she continues playing the piano, trying to practice singing. But suddenly, the Phantom appears and takes over her. The next day, when she arrives at the music school, she finds the idol girl waiting for her, asking for another chance. She starts singing again, but this time her voice is beautiful. All the students gather around her, amazed, and they truly recognize her talent. Our heroine learns from her classmate what happened and is puzzled, realizing there's a secret behind it all. She concludes that the Phantom is the cause. The smart student explains that the phantom is the type that enchants people with his voice, and they decide to confirm his words. To their surprise, they find that all the students who heard her voice are acting strangely, as if they're in a trance. They come up with a plan and agree to meet later that night to capture the idol and release the phantom from her. However, the smart student isn't there at the agreed time, and they have to start the plan without him. Each of them wears headphones to block out the idol's voice as they head to the music room. They find her there, and she tries to attack them, but they're surprised to find she has a strong protective barrier. At that moment, the smart student appears and approaches them. He removes the headphones from his ears, and she begins to sing, trying to control him. She forces him to attack our heroine, who tries to defend herself but is clearly weaker. Just as she's about to be struck, fortunately he arrives just in time and saves her. He fights with her, and after a struggle he succeeds in knocking himself and the student unconscious. He uses his power to break the protective barrier she created. She seizes the opportunity and goes to strike him. She manages to force the phantom out of the idol's body, trapping its soul and taking the magical stone. As a result, the students return to their normal selves, and she is happy and grateful. There is only one day left, and now they have gathered all the magical stones. The next day, the heroine wakes up excited because she's close to succeeding in her mission and returning to her world. But when she goes to class, she is shocked to realize there's an exam. She gets nervous because she had forgotten and hadn't studied well. She tries to cheat, but the teacher catches her, and she's forced to use the boy's strange talent to help her in the exam. He takes the question and answers it in a confusing way, and she has no idea what he's talking about. After finishing, she sees a student upset about the exam. She asks him what happened, and he says, "What can I do? Unfortunately, I got a 2 out of 10. She tries to console him, saying, "Don't worry, I'm close to that too." But before she can embarrass them, he pulls her away and explains that the student is upset because he missed 2 questions. She is surprised by his words and feels embarrassed, realizing he was trying to be the top student in school. Later, we see the student sitting alone in class, studying hard to make up for those 2 marks. He receives a message from his father asking how he did, and we learn that his parents always push him to get high grades, which makes him feel a lot of pressure. On the other hand, our heroine is happy she finished the exam and decides to invite her team to lunch. She sees Young and asks if he wants to join them, but he declines, saying he's busy. She leaves and walks away. He feels jealous because he thinks she likes him. They go to the restaurant and sit down to eat together, but he asks her what she will do after capturing the last phantom. She tells him that she must return to her world. Her friends are surprised by her words, and it's clear that they are sad because they have grown fond of her and considered her one of them. She reassures them, saying that she'll visit them when the magical gate opens again. They're happy about this and decide to help her capture the final phantom. Meanwhile, we see the student staying up late in the library, trying to study all his subjects. He's so exhausted that he begins to bleed from his nose. The next day, he tries to focus on the exam, and when it's over, he walks out and sees our heroes, happy and heading out together for fun. He envies their lives even though they're failing. They still have a life, while he's always studying. He receives a message from his father, telling him not to waste time and to study harder. He gets angry because he feels like he's not living his life. He's forced to go to the library again, like every day, and continues studying late into the night. But he can't take it anymore, and his nerves break down. He feels like someone is close by, and suddenly, the phantom appears behind him. He decides to take advantage of his weakness and successfully takes control of him. The next day, our heroine goes to school, but she's surprised that the phantom hasn't appeared yet. She continues searching for him with John. John's friend shows up and throws a baseball, but he fails to catch it, and it accidentally hits the student who was studying. However, he manages to catch it without looking, as if he has some violent force inside him. John is shocked by what happened and starts to suspect him, noticing that he's changed and is acting differently. But she doesn't pay attention to his words and goes to meet her friend, the smart student. She tells him that the last phantom hasn't appeared, but she needs to ask Young because he has more experience than her. She agrees with what he says and decides to follow his advice. But when she goes to ask about him, she learns that he hasn't come today. She's surprised because this isn't like him, so she decides to rely on herself. That night, she goes to the school. She runs into the student who is usually studying. They're both surprised, and he asks her nervously what she's doing. She says she's looking for something she lost. But as he walks away, she notices that her tool starts glowing. She's shocked and realizes that he is the Phantom. The next day, she tells her team what she discovered, and they decide to capture him that night and finish the mission. That evening, they go to the library and see him studying. She seizes the opportunity and tries to attack him, but suddenly, he disappears and appears behind them. They're shocked and realize he has the ability to teleport. She tries to find a weakness in the book, but unfortunately, she discovers that he has no weaknesses. He laughs and tells them that he is perfect and they won't be able to defeat him. "I'm not weak like the others you managed to catch," he says, and then leaves. The heroine is left unsure of what to do, but the brave student finds a notebook with a note saying that he can control time. This means that he can stop time and move freely. They come up with a plan and set a trap for him. They leave the notebook on the ground to lure him in. The Phantom appears, laughing because he's so confident in himself. He goes to grab the notebook, but sees the smart student running toward him. He decides to use his ability to stop time, but suddenly, John appears from behind, grabbing his hands and stopping him from using his power. The Phantom is startled and realizes it's a trap. He uses all his strength to push John away and tries to escape. But to his surprise, there's a magical spell on the ground that prevents him from moving. The heroine approaches him, laughing because everything was part of their plan. He was overly arrogant. She seizes the opportunity and strikes him with her sword, forcing him out of the student's body and trapping him. She takes the magical stone and is thrilled that she has finally completed her mission. She has collected all the stones. As she leaves the school, happy with her success, she's shocked to find Young waiting for her outside. He tells her, "I'm proud of you," and asks her to hand over the stones so they can return to their world. The heroine is pleased by his words and gives him the magical stones. But as soon as he grabs them, he laughs an evil laugh and tells her that she's foolish and naive for believing him. He uses the power of the stones and disappears from the scene. Yuna is stunned by what just happened. She realizes that he had been using her all along. She can't believe she was deceived by him. The next day, she goes to school and searches for him everywhere. But no one seems to know anything about him. She feels frustrated and doesn't know what to do. Later, she goes to the training field, where her friend notices that something is off with him. He asks what's wrong and he gets angry because he feels weak. He continues to train, hoping to increase his strength so he can defeat Young and take the magical stones back. Meanwhile, the smart student and the brave girl are thinking together about why Young did this. They conclude that he wants to use the power of the stones to become the strongest phantom hunter, someone no one can defeat. They feel sorry for Yuna, as she trusted him and considered him like an older brother. But the heroine refuses to give up and continues searching. She checks all the places where he might be, but there's no sign of him. She walks alone, feeling sad. Suddenly, she sees a lightning bolt descending from the sky. She's shocked and feels like this is a sign from him. She runs toward it. When she arrives, she finds him waiting for her. But as soon as she sees him, she attacks him and tries to strike him. He easily deflects all her attacks, mocking her for being weak. She gets angry and uses all her strength, starting to strike at him with her sword. She manages to land a hit and knocks him to the ground. She asks him to surrender, but he looks at her and calls her name. He rushes to help her, which grabs her attention. He takes advantage of the opportunity, strikes her, and escapes the scene. John comes over to check on her, surprised that he was the cause of what happened. But she tells him that she managed to steal a magical stone from them. So no matter what his plans are, they were able to stop them. The next day, she sits in front of the stone, thinking because she knows he will come for it. But she's afraid and doesn't know what to do, as he is stronger than her. When she leaves the house, she finds her friends waiting for her. They assure her that they won't leave her and will stay with her to help. They must defeat him because they are a team. She feels happy hearing their words and thanks them. They agree to work together, united, to overcome him. At night, they wait on the school roof. Young arrives and laughs, mocking them when he sees them, claiming that he's stronger than all of them. The heroine attacks him, and the battle begins. Her friends try to help, but he easily deflects all their attacks. He flies into the air and successfully knocks them down. No one can stand against him. He approaches Yuna, mocking her because she is still weak, and takes the magical stone from her before walking away. Then comes the surprise. It turns out to be a fake. He realizes that the real stone is with John, and demands that he hand it over. But John refuses. He decides to use the power of the phantom inside him to defeat Young. He becomes legendary as he attacks him, and a fierce fight breaks out. Their strengths are evenly matched as they clash and break each other's bones. At this moment, the smart student seizes the opportunity and steals the bag with the remaining stones, handing them to Yuna. She threatens the heroine to surrender, and Young is stunned, unsure of what to do. Realizing that he has been defeated, he flies off the roof and escapes the scene. But Yuna doesn't let him go and follows him. She chases him until they reach a garden, where she's surprised to find a magical gate. He tells her that her friends are in danger. He asks her if she will return with him to their world or save them. The heroine is torn, unsure of what to do. But she chooses to save her friends because she considers them her family. She leaves and runs to catch up with them, managing to save them and extract the phantom from John's body. They leave the place together. However, she's surprised to find her principal waiting for her. The principal runs over to check on her and scolds her for taking the magical ring without permission. But then she hugs her, happy that she's okay. The principal starts introducing her to her friends and team, explaining that they helped her. She asks about what happened in their world. The principal shares everything with her, explaining that Young staged a coup to become king and freed all the phantoms. This will lead to a great war, and the human world is also at risk. She tells her that now she is a powerful phantom hunter and asks her to return with her to their world to help end the war. The heroine is shocked by what she hears and sees magical gates in the sky. She realizes that this mission will be dangerous, but she decides to go. She agrees with her team to work together to fight the phantoms and end the war. And so, the first season ends. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the notification bell. As soon as the second season is out, you'll be the first to watch it. All you have to do now is give a lovely like to respect this beautiful video. Have a great evening, beautiful one.